Yeah, they've only made
permutations.
They've only made the one change for this game. Number 14, Rodriguez, is in for number 6, Lagos.
Yes or no, Ray? Does that mean Honduras have come to win this?
I think they have, definitely. Well, they've come to get a point, that's for sure. They want to qualify for the next stage, and they've picked 10 of the players that got the good result against Bolivia.
Here's the Uruguayan team reaching us now, Tony.
Yeah, 5 changes for Uruguay. Maybe that says something as well. They've got number 12, Berbia, in for Munia. Number 11, Guglielmoni for Perez.
Mexico, Costa Rica, Peru and Uruguay are there. Are Honduras under Ramon Madariaga going to make it too? They will do if they avoid defeat. Uruguay already guaranteed a quarter-final of some sort. If they finish second, it will be against Brazil. So I was getting rather excited there for a moment, Iain.
I don't know how you stand it. I mean, I do understand. I think the town, Medellin, is the capital of the bra-making world. So I know you're a foremost expert on mainly undoing bras, Iain. So
I wish. Appropriate that we're playing for a cup here then, as Honduras in their change kit of all white, prepared to start the last of the group games. One interesting scenario, by the way. If Uruguay were to win 4-0, as Costa Rica did against Bolivia, then the records between those two teams would be absolutely identical, and they would have to draw lots to decide on who wins the group and who goes where in the quarter-finals. I have to say, having seen Uruguay play so far in this tournament, I'm not quite sure if they got 4 goals in them, but you never know. No,
it's going to be a difficult task, but maybe they can conjure up some of that, the churro, the famous spirit of an old tribe that was in Uruguay. So if they can get some of that churro within the side, there's every chance that they can win the game tonight. I do fancy Uruguay to win, but it just worries me the fact that they've got to score 4 goals, and as you say, they've not been really free-flowing in that department.
It's the last of the group games then. It's Uruguay, it's Honduras, and it's in the high altitude of Medellin, where the crowds haven't exactly been vast, boosted tonight by 2,000 children allowed in. It's not been the most attractive of groups, although it could have been. Argentina were due to be in this group along with Canada, but they both pulled out to be replaced by Honduras and Costa Rica. Honduras playing in the Copa America for the first time. Costa Rica have actually participated before. They were invited to take part a few years back. And Martinez immediately looking to break away for the Hondurans, and he's done just that. He's on his own, but didn't really need anyone else.
A nice positive start there. I mean, not the best defending. I think it's a good Gutierrez who's come in tonight. Didn't really make a good challenge, but to be fair to Martinez, he really struck that well. But you really want your forwards to go across the goal there. And a good opportunity for them maybe to take an early lead, Honduras. And that would have made Uruguay come out and play.
Uruguay hoping to win the Copa America for a record 15th time. At the moment they are joint record holders with Argentina, but no chance of them winning it this year after they decided for security reasons not to take part. So Uruguay have basically got to better Costa Rica's 4-0 scoreline to win this group. That will be asking a lot of them. But whatever happens, really, they're going to face a pretty tough quarter-final. Brazil or Colombia looking likely for them. Honduras beaten by Costa Rica in their opening game, but they recovered to get the better of Bolivia. Mind you, Bolivia have been dreadfully disappointing in this group. I don't think their coach will be in a job for too long. The P45 is ready and waiting for him, I suspect.
Well, they certainly don't hang about in the Central or South America. You know, when the results have gone the wrong way, they're not shy about changing the coach. And you know, I think even Victor Pur, he succeeded Daniel Passarello, who's so impressive with Argentina, and there was a big surprise when their arch rivals, you know, a man who was a legend with their arch rivals was appointed coach. So they certainly do change their coaches at a certain regularity.
Uruguay looking for an early breakthrough, but decently defended by Caballero. Honduras tucked in behind Costa Rica and the USA in their World Cup qualifying group. As for Uruguay, well, they're currently 5th in their group. If they were to be in that spot at the end of it all, with 5 games to play, they would be involved in a playoff against Australia. But it's not the World Cup on their minds at the moment. It's the 2001 Copa America being hosted in Colombia for the very first time. And they've done a pretty good job of hosting it, it must be said, despite all the problems leading up to the start of the tournament.
Just interesting on a tactical side, it looks more like the Honduras have almost gone with a back 3 there. I think it's, you know, they're going with Medina, Caballero and Garcamo there, and they seem to be playing that back 3, and then they're pushing Guti on and letting Tercios work up and down that right-hand side. So it's going to be interesting, and that's going to be difficult to deal with, because on the Uruguayan side, they're pushing Rodrigo Lemos right in behind the front 2, and almost playing like a 4-3-1-2 formation, which is going to be difficult for the 3 centre-backs of Honduras to deal with.
Uruguay reached the final of the last Copa America. They were well beaten by Brazil in the end. There are actually no survivors from that final in the starting lineup today, although Callejas is on the bench. Garcamo. Garcia. Gave it straight to Martinez. Cricket taken a little too quickly for the referee's liking. In fact, I think it's gone the other way. Tercios trying to force it through.
A couple of ricochets there could have gone either way and maybe helped Honduras through, but the referee's given a decision. But a few rather rushed clearances. I think it's again from Gutierrez. He doesn't really settle down, you know. He obviously came in today for Sorondo, the captain, and you know, he's not really settled down. A couple of hash clearances, and you normally expect you know, South American defenders to be a little bit more composed.
Yes, Uruguay resting a few of their main men for this final group game as they look forward to a quarter-final. They last won the competition, Uruguay, in 1995. They hosted it.
Of course, they were finalists last time out, you know, and it's widely thought that probably the squad isn't probably strong enough to go that way, but obviously Victor Pur was in charge then, and he's in charge now, so they've got a chance. And what's incredible is their record at world football level, considering the population they have. I mean, it's the same as, you know, my country, Northern Ireland, 3 million. For the success they've had, they really do produce some outstanding footballers.
Which could be promising for Honduras, then again, perhaps not.
I have to say, I'm a little bit fortunate to have said that I played against Uruguay in Windsor Park, and we beat them 1-0 on that night, and they the same team went and beat England 2-1 the following week, and they were an enormously physical side. I remember nursing some bruises after that game.
Did you give as good as you got, though?
You obviously haven't seen me play. I was a cultured footballer. I never got involved in that.
Carlos Diaz. Lemos. Martinez lost out, and tentative start to this contest, the final game in Group C, the final game in the group stages. The quarter-finals to be played on Sunday and Monday. Neither side really getting into their stride yet.
No, absolutely not. There's no real pattern to the game yet. A lot of the play in the midfield third. No, apart from the initial run of strike from Martinez, there's not going to be any attempts on goal. But it's a little case of just feeling people out, you know, the first sort of 10 minutes, just see how the system works. What I will think is that as Uruguay progress a little bit, that they'll go with them sort of 2 or 3 defensive midfield players, and they'll really allow the fullbacks in Bizera and Cabello to really bomb and join in. And that's a feature of a lot of the South American teams. They allow their fullbacks to really push on.
Martinez, and now Martinez rather, finding Lemos. Now a chance for Diaz to progress, but Julio Leon intervened for Honduras. Leon, who looked lively against Bolivia the other night. Rodriguez has taken a knock as Honduras tried to advance. Serbia, the second choice keeper, winning his first cap, plays with Penarol, who are top of the league at the moment. Guglielmone trying to get in, but it's taken off his toes. By Guevara. Honduras spraying the passes around. You can see on that left-hand side. Another foul by Martinez, who's certainly putting himself about in the opening stages. And he certainly caught Tercios.
Yeah, not too much in there. He's making it more than it is, but certainly been some physical challenges about. The referee's been strong, and here's probably the first opportunity of a direct strike on goal.
And a yellow card has been shown to Cabello. First of the game. The number of red cards in the 2001 Copa America totaling 14 for the players and 2 for the coaches, and 14 actually equals the record in the history of this competition, so another red card would create a rather unwanted disciplinary record. Cabello first to see yellow tonight in this game.
Yeah, there's been some soft ones as well. There's been a lot when you know, I know we've got the benefit of hindsight, but some of the challenge have been a bit injudicious, but they've really not been worthy of sending off. And there's been too much showing red cards for me. It's probably detracted from some of the games for me.
Julio Leon might well fancy this. It's really drilled through, and credit to the keeper Babia, because certainly had to punch. Leon stepped over, and
he's got a wonderful eye for a goal. He's got a wonderful eye for a goal, but I'm not sure about defensive wall here. I have to say, it's an interesting thing a lot of people do. When they put the man on the end of the wall, they leave a gap, and it can deflect either way, and I think you should make the man tight to the wall so you know which way it's going. I think it takes a slight deflection of the man, but a good strike and an excellent early save for Burbia, that will have settled his nerves, I'm sure.
Guevara and Leon once again standing over that free kick, as they have done so far in this tournament. Guevara scored both goals against Bolivia, and I seem to remember Leon just clipped the post with one of his free kicks when he had a go.
He's certainly got some technical ability to strike the ball, and you know, there's been some disappointing free kicks, but that one from Guevara was a lovely strike.
Guglielmone chasing. Oops. Corner. Not exactly a lesson in how to pass back to your goalkeeper there.
No, it was a very, very loose pass back, and no need just inviting pressure on. And you know, they've got some physical presence about them, Uruguay. In a couple of the games they've gone with long throws and delivery into the box, so it's something that Valadares won't be happy about, I'm sure, and they'll have to defend this corner nice and stoutly and make sure they're on their mettle.
Carlos Morales scored against Costa Rica in the last game. corner for Uruguay.
That was good defending there from Caballero. Really got a strong header on it, and you know, after Medina gave the corner away, you know, Caballero really helped him out there with an excellent defensive header at the near post.
Lemos delivers. Oh, I thought for a moment that might be going straight in.
Well, what was Valladares doing? I mean, he's done quite well in this tournament. He totally misjudges this, and just if it's a bit low, it's a clear goal. I have to say the Honduran marking's not very good either. If you look there, I think there's 2 or 3 Uruguayans unmarked at the back post. There, just flashes across. Oh, almost a goal.
Too close for comfort for Honduras, but no goals so far in Medellin, where a draw would be good enough for Honduras to progress and for Ecuador to be eliminated. Can't be much fun in the Ecuador camp at the moment. They sit and watch and wait.
No, and I think, you know, a lot was expected of Ecuador, and if they go out, it'll be as a response to the first 2 games when, you know, I think generally everyone thought that, you know, they didn't perform to the level everyone expected, especially after them beating Brazil in the World Cup qualifying. You expect them to come in and do really well, but it hasn't proved the case, although they've still got some small chance tonight if Uruguay beat Honduras.
Uruguay still without Chevanton, who scored their winner against Bolivia, but was also injured in that game. Struggling to make the rest of the tournament, I think. Here's Diaz. Manages to deliver, and Guglielmoni was waiting to receive. Carlos Morales lurking too. Diaz could try again. Carlos Morales. Oh, really run for him. Here's Martinez.
Yeah, there's been some nervy defending in there, you know, a few missed tackles, some wild clearances there. I think that was Garcamo again with a wild swing in the Honduran box that could have let, so I think it was Morales in.
Guevara in a hurry to take the throw. Diaz not in a hurry to give him the ball. Guti leaves it for Guevara. Garcia. Quarter of an hour played. Honduras 0, Uruguay 0. Leon gets it back from Caballero. Guglielmoni nips in for Uruguay. But we're still struggling for a pattern to develop.
Yeah, certainly are, and it's interesting. I mean, there was a nice little ball there with Diaz and Guglielmoni when they got the opportunity to go down and the right-hand side, but certainly because they're playing that 3 at the back now, Honduras, it's very difficult for Uruguay to get any pattern in that midfield area, and they're a little bit overloaded in there, and when they're passing there's one extra body in there for Honduras all the time, and they can't find the spare man. As a result, there's a lot of misplaced passes.
Floats the free kick in. Uruguay will get a corner.
Well, it's interesting. We've seen a lot of that in this Copa America, where they've probably, I have to say, that's why the South American coaches are so good. They've learned from the good parts of the European game, and set pieces are so vitally important. I think still 60% of all goals are scored from sector, and they try and make some different ones, you know, more direct ones.
Lemos with the corner, and Uruguay very nearly going in front. It was Becerra who's taken over the captain's armband, who nearly showed the way.
Oh, it's a wonderful. I love them free corners when they're driven in. Beautiful float. It's a wonderful leap from Becerra, and he's very unlucky to get above that. But he's almost head and shoulders above the bar there. Very unlucky. And I think Coach Poor must think a lot of him, because he's a young lad, he's only 21, and he's handed him the captaincy, which is, you know, it's always a special honour.
Decent chance for Uruguay, but it remains goalless.
We did say that they do offer a bit of a, a physical presence, and they are a threat from set pieces. And now, obviously with him and with Becerra now and Guglielmoni, they do possess a bit of size, even though Morales has been left out. Richard Morales, that is. I think there is some point here as well with the fact that the two games are played at different times, and they, Uruguay know exactly, and Honduras know exactly what they've got to do, and that maybe takes an edge of it, especially when they've won 4-0. If it had been 1-0, it'd still have all been to play for, but there's a chance here.
Morales has got it from Guglielmoni, and the goalkeeper spilled it, and Guglielmoni goes down.
Yeah.
The referee has not favoured Uruguay.
Valadares won't be happy with that handling. I mean, it's a poor strike, really. It's not a great strike. I think this is. No, he does get the ball. It's a good tackle, in fact, and I think it's Guglielmoni makes a lot of the challenge.
Unusual to see a player making a lot of the challenge in this tournament.
Certainly not. It's an excellent turn.
Leon. Uti. Honduras with the man down. I'm sure they'll get a free kick.
I think this could be a sending off here. If the referee's seen it, I think it could be a sending off. That's a booking. Let's give a booking there. I think for an elbow. I think that as the player ran across the field just before this incident happened, I think the player got clashed. I mean, there's Diaz. Diaz making a quite heavy challenge on Guti, but before that, as the player laid a pass off, he just got a smash in the face. I think it was against Eguren. Booking there.
Tercios is still down as we wait for this free kick to be taken. So, friends from South American television not bothering to show us Tercios, but they do confirm the yellow card for Eguren. Free kick in a promising position for Honduras.
I think, to be fair to coach Victor Pua, and he's obviously a bit of a motivator who's worked with the lower levels of the young lads. And he's got, I think there's 5 players there in there, under 25, and that's always a good sign when you've got players you can blood in these tournaments, and the captain of 21, and that can only stand in good stead for the for future World Cup qualifying and hopefully future Copa Americas.
Tercios is up on his feet, and we are ready to resume with Guevara's free kick. Martinez is there, Caballero amongst ones who come up from the back. In goes the free kick from Guevara. Honduras not really making much of that.
I think it's an excellent defensive header from Martinez. I think he gets in the back post, stops. I think it was Caballero getting in there with a header.
Uruguay have failed to make it to the last 2 World Cups, and they're treading a thin line with regard to making it to the next one, although they are on the same points as Brazil at the moment, having beaten them recently in a qualifying game. Vital victory for them.
I have to say, I do feel a bit sorry for the Australia there. I mean, they've won their group comfortably and have to play maybe either Brazil or Uruguay to get through to the World Cup. It seems a little bit harsh on the Oceanic group. They can't at least get one qualifying place straight through to the finals.
Yes, Uruguay, one of the teams that could be waiting for the Aussies. Rodrigo Lemos ready to take this free kick for the 14 times Copa America winners. Goalkeeper was under a little bit of pressure from Guglielmoni, but not that much.
No, again, it's not convincing goalkeeping. When the high ball's floated in, you want your keeper to come. If he's going to come big and strong and if he's trying to catch it, punch it, but he does neither really there, and there's absolutely no foul at all.
Leon. It's come off Guglielmone. Well, 5 changes in this Uruguayan side tonight.
Poor certainly likes the big target man, and you know, we had Richard Morales who looked nice and bright and very, very strong and powerful. He's been left out tonight, and they brought in Guglielmone, who again looks like 6'1", 6'2", and doesn't mind putting himself about and unsettling defenders.
Here's Martinez. Carlos Morales was just caught from behind. Medina.
So they are masters of that. When the ball's played up and it looks like they're going to lose the ball, they seem to be able to con the referee into a challenge. I know the challenge from behind's been outlawed, but some of these are hardly ever challenges. And what sounds silly, but it really does give you advantage. They are gaining massive advantage because they're getting set pieces. He looks like he takes just about everything, this man, Mr. Lemos. Looks like he might fancy a strike here.
It's a long run up for Rodrigo Lemos. He does go for goal, but always rising and not really troubling Valladares.
I remember watching previous World Cups and remember seeing Eder of Brazil hitting a ball that moved about 30 yards in the air, so nothing would surprise you for the South Americans when they try from there. It sounds outrageous. I think, you know, even Roberto Carlos against France scored a wonderful goal, you know, from the ball moved about 10, 15 feet in the air, so they really have great technique.
Uruguay were the first ever winners of the Copa America in 1916. And it was the start of something great for them in this competition. They've always done well. They'll be looking to do well here with Martinez. Diaz. Lemos. Carlos Morales, put that straight to the keeper.
Yeah, as I say, Diaz of anyone's really very much to the fore. He really is pushing on down this right-hand side. And he's the one of the back four that's really joined in. And he's been, of anyone for the Uruguayan side, he's been quite purposeful. You know, they've made some positive runs there. He's linked up with Morales and tried to get some nice intricate passing moves going. Just hasn't that final ball in or the final pass hasn't quite come off yet. As a result, it's, you know, there's not enough efforts in both attacking thirds at the moment.
Honduras may be third in their World Cup qualifying group, but they are the top scorers in the group, although they have the second worst defensive record as well. So they get goals, but they leak a few as well, which makes it rather surprising, perhaps, that it's still 0-0 here. Oh, Caballero, he's got to be careful, and he's surely held him back, and that's going to be a free kick and probably a card.
Well, he didn't learn his lesson. He tried it a little bit earlier, tried a little loft over the defender that was the attacker, Morales, that was caught out earlier. And here again, I mean, he dallies on the ball, he doesn't need to, tries to overplay, and with all due respect to Caballero, he's not that gifted on the ball, and he's lost possession in a fantastic area, and I think Mr. Lemos will, again, should fancy this effort from here, and it's a much better position than the other one.
Too casual from Caballero, and Uruguay hoping to benefit, hoping to open the scoring in Medellin tonight. Caballero receiving the third yellow card of the game, the first though for Honduras. Uruguay looking for a way through, and the keeper just got across as it threatened to squeeze in the corner. Here's Guevara.
I think it was an excellent, I think it was from Claudio Dardama. I think he whipped that in with his left foot. It was a good save in the end, because he really did get it round the wall and bent it down. Yeah, I think it is Dardama. Good whip ball in, good save near post from Valladares. He certainly looks a decent shot stopper. Some of his handling's a bit dubious, but he knows where his position in the goal is to make saves like that, although you'd expect him to save that. All from Caballero's complacency at the back.
Martinez has hurt himself and he immediately signalled a need for treatment then. A whack on the shin for Martinez, and he seems to be in some pain now. There's a familiar scenario in the Copa America.
It is incredible actually what the pushing and shoving goes on. Guevara very much to the fore, the Honduran captain, very much involved in that, and there's no need for it really. And I think you know, the referee, he seems to be in the heart of it. There's all sorts going on around the actual incident, when it was a foul, but nothing malicious.
Martinez certainly in need of treatment.
And there you can see it there. Martinez he's already on his way down. He knows the challenge is coming. He's already on his way down. But I think when you look at that from behind, it probably was worth a booking from the captain, Becerra. Bit rash, both feet off the ground at one time, and as a captain, he's got to show a better example than that.
Well, ominously, 4 yellow cards in 28.5 minutes. I wonder if we are going to get that record-breaking 15th red card for a player in the Copa America. Never happened before, never been that many in the history of this competition. There's Victor Pua, the Uruguayan coach. And there's another delay as the referee has to speak to Becerra again. He's got to be very careful, really.
Certainly has.
Guevara floats it in. Just one point of note, actually, the referee comes from Ecuador, who of course will benefit tonight if Honduras lose this game. They would go through, and Honduras wouldn't. A bit of a strange choice of official.
You didn't watch JFK before you came in, did you? Another conspiracy theory here. But,
you'd have thought of all the referees they've got here, they might have...
Exactly right. I mean, it just shows us how things turn out. But again, there you see the set piece, and I was talking about European influence on South American football. That's very much a European free kick. They spread the defenders wide, and dink a little ball in, and try and get a little bit of a knockdown. Caballero made a very good header towards the far post. He's excellent defending from Becerra to clear it out, but certainly becoming effective and using that sort of European free kick more and more.
Here's Diaz. Lemos delivers, looking for Guglielmone in the middle. We'll try again with Diaz. It's a pretty dogged battle out there. Caballero did well that time.
Oh, he's a big, strong lad, there's no doubt about it. Really can, you know, I think he's one of their man markers who they do an excellent job, and that's really what he wanted to do.
Martinez trying to get in, but no way through that time. Just to add to that conspiracy theory regarding the referee, although of course we are suggesting nothing at all, but he has booked 3 Uruguayans already, just the one from Honduras. So maybe he's trying to show that he's not at all heartily interested in the outcome of this game.
I mean, as you say, there's 4 bookings really, and there really hasn't been a bad challenge. I mean, maybe that one for Becerra deserved the booking, but apart from that, there's been nothing. A few bits and pieces, but for me, it's too free with the yellow cards.
Been littered with free kicks as well.
Well, if they keep giving away free kicks in bad areas, they're going to get punished. They've already seen that Becerra's a great header over the bar. They had 1 free kick, the keeper Valadares made an excellent save, I think, from Dardamo. So, you know, they're going to bring up the big guns here. You know, he'll come up again. Becerra, Guglielmone, they all look to get on the end of this.
So Lemos delivers once again. Chances few and far between in this game, but Uruguay hoping to change that. And Leon hoping to change it for Honduras, and Martinez is going to burst away here. Now this could be very promising. Martinez, oh, what a poor finish.
Woeful finish. I mean, it's a wonderful through ball, absolutely wonderful through ball to him, and he really doesn't do it justice. I mean, it just shows he's got no left foot. He doesn't want to take it on his left. He's trying to run round it. There's no problem with that, as we've seen Danielson run round the ball the other day with a wonderful curler, but he's never going to beat the keeper on the far post, the near post. He's got to try and bend it in that far corner, and technique's lacking. I know it's a bobbly surface, but he should be doing better than that, Martinez.
I seem to recall him missing quite a few chances against Bolivia the other night as well. The jury's out on Martinez. I
have to say, I think that's almost been a feature of the Copa. I think some of the finishing's not quite been what it should have been. There's been a lot of, what you consider fairly decent chances that haven't even hit the target. And, you'd expect South America to be a lot more clinically in front of the goal. I think the ball through was from Guevara. It was a wonderful through ball. I mean, played it with the outside of his boot, bent into his path. A real opportunity.
Carlos Morales and Uruguay looking to make headway here. Ooh, just wide.
Well, he dug out a shot there. I mean, coaches and managers talk about no backlift there. And Lemos really digs it out ever so well. But hardly any backlift. He knows he's going to get challenged. Snapshot. You can tell the keeper Valladares thinks he's close as he goes full length.
Rodrigo Lemos gets his fair share of goals from midfield for his club, and a great surprise really. Certainly fancies the set pieces. Leon, Guevara, the captain, scored twice against Bolivia, although one of them was gifted to him by the Bolivian keeper. And Leon, but although it was bouncing a little bit, not really much of a test for Birmingham.
Very speculative. Didn't really get hold of it.
Carlos Morales has turned away from Caballero.
I think for Uruguay that's certainly an area they could expose here, and exactly what I was going to say, that to actually draw the centre-halves out of areas they don't want to go. They've got the three centre-halves there, and particularly Medina and Caballero. They don't want to be drawn out into wide areas, and that's the sort of runs I think Guglielmone and Morales should make, into out runs, and try and get that ball down the channel, secure possession, wait for support, and then get some delivery into the box.
Well, Honduras has got a free kick. Their next World Cup qualifying game is actually away to the USA in Washington in September. Martinez, who squandered a great chance to give them the lead in this game. Tercios lets it run for Leon and then promptly gets it back. The two of them exchange passes. Leon doing battle with Igarin. But Leon not giving it up in a hurry. Uruguay looking to make something happen. Lemos obviously involved. Guglielmone though losing out, but it will be a Uruguayan throw.
Decent play there, good pressurising.
Now, once again the finishing lets Lemos down.
Yeah, and wonderful play before that. Lovely disguise, lovely feint, gives himself the opportunity. And you think from 22 yards he's got to make Valladares make a save, but it's high wide and not so handsome.
Martinez. Goalkeeper. Oh! Got there eventually.
I think Coach Ramon Madariaga, I think they call him El Primitivo for the character of his face, and you can understand why with Valladara juggling the ball in his own box like that.
Martinez, well, what sort of pass is that? Straight to Eguerel, and Uruguay's Martinez takes over. Flags up against the Martinez from Honduras.
Well, it does sound there's not enough support for Martinez. I mean, he's very, very isolated. He's almost playing out there on his own. And really, Honduras at times are playing like a 3-5-1-1 system. You know, with Guevara joining. You know, and it's not particularly working. I mean, Garcia's the other one who can join in from Wild or Tercius. They take turns, but you know, generally Martinez is left up exposed on his own. And they need to get support if they're going to take something out of this game. They need to be, you know, a bit more positive. Although a draw is a good enough result for them.
Adamo has won a free kick for Uruguay, which I dare say Lemos will probably fancy. It's blocked by Medina. Of the group games at the 2001 Copa America, and Uruguay looking for a way through, and off the post, and then the goalkeeper, and a let-off for Honduras. A wonderful strike, but Leon meantime is striding up the other end, from one end to the other. It's Saul Martinez now.
What a strike from Lemos. Absolute rocket, cannons into the post. Valladara knows his luck's in when it hits his body and bounced away to safety.
Duty. But Diaz takes charge for Uruguay, who have come the closest to breaking the deadlock in this encounter. Inside the final 5 minutes of the first half, how about that?
Yeah, Lemos, really done. He is fortunate, the keeper. Look at the ball move in the air. It could drop down to, I think it's Martinez there, but he gets a bit of fortune. And it's, you know, one of the best free kicks I've seen in this year's Copa. It really was a wonderful strike. It was moving.
Rucci's cross, not great. Diaz won the aerial battle. Get a head start. Only looked in vain for a free kick. Caballero mopping up. Guevara breaks down for Honduras, and another obstruction. There's been a few of those in this first half.
Yeah, there's been too many of them. It's broken up by a lot of set. But here's that set piece again. Look at the ball move in the air. It really does move in the air. Wonderful. It's a wonderful header from the clearing keeper. Excellent clearing header.
And he knew so much about it as well. Now Diaz. There's Morales trying to get in, but just got a whack on the nose for his troubles.
But here you see Honduras there. They're almost going 3 for 3 at the back at times, you know, when they have the ball. And I think you have to do that if you want to encourage a passing game. You haven't got to be frightened to go man for man at times. Otherwise, you're not going to get that spare man in midfield areas where you need to keep possession.
Leon. Here's Rodriguez. Garcia. Leon had advanced. Honduras hanging in there. Guevara. He can hit them, and they're kind of encouraging him. Here he is again. Leon. This is better from Honduras. Closing stages of the first half. The goalkeeper spilled it and was battered over the bar by Tercios.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful skill out wide. I think it's Garcia with great skill. Again, the keeper for me, Berbia. You know, it's a great strike, but if you're going to help it along, don't push it out. Help it on its way across towards the corner flag. You know, palm it across. Don't palm it out into the danger area in the 6-yard box. Oh, and Tercius should do better than that. He slashes at it really.
Guglielmone. Lemos trying to return it to him, but not the best of touches from the Honduran captain Guevara. Inadvertently finds his way to Garcia.
A very important cut out there from Medina there. I think it might have been Diaz. It's a good cut out. If they hadn't cut that ball out, they are playing a dangerous game, Uruguay. They're holding a very high line at times when players are coming. I think it was Guevara there coming under no pressure, and they tried to push out. You can't afford to do that. You can only put pressure on the ball. You know, if the man's got pressure on it, you know, if they push it out and make sure that, you know, he knows he's going to get challenged, then you can hold a high line. When the player's playing under no pressure, he's going to break you down sooner or later.
Garcia responsible for that tantalising turn a few moments ago. Caballero sends it across to Leon. Here's Guti. Right at the end of the first half. Honduras trying to prize an opening. Uruguay, though, have the best defensive record in their World Cup qualifying group. They don't give goals away easily.
There's been a little bit more encouragement for Honduras. Had a nice period of possession here. Had an excellent opportunity created by Garcia. Ricky Garcia's excellent skill there. Lovely feint, not once but twice, and then an excellent ball across the box. A little bit unfortunate not to put them 1-0 up.
Just 1 minute of time to be added on in this first half, starting any second. Medina. Tercios. Disappointing though. Costa Rica beat Bolivia 4-0 earlier here in Medellin. And that means that Uruguay would have to better that score to win the group. Oh, Martinez could capitalise here. Side netting. Oh dear, he just can't score, this lad. He has loads of chances.
What a chance. I mean, what is Becerra doing? I mean, it's a routine clearance. He lets it go, but his change of pace is so poor here. Look, Martinez, wonderful exposure. I mean, he's clear. Now's when you want that cold and calculating mind. He just rushes it, trying to push it that near post again rather than going across the goal. And not even to make the keeper made the save. There's a Cardinal still in that position.
Well, he's done it a few times, Martinez, in the 2001 Copa America, and the whistle goes for half-time. And in this last of the group games in this tournament, at half-time, it's Honduras 0, Uruguay 0.
Ahí tenemos a Vicera, al capitán uruguayo, hablando con Gutiérrez, compañero en el eje de la zaga uruguaya. Y estamos en una situación que se ha repetido muchísimas veces en esta Copa América. Que al comienzo de las segundas partes hay un equipo en el campo, está el trío arbitral, pero siempre falta el otro equipo. No acaban de atinar con hacer coincidir a los dos equipos en el terreno de juego al mismo tiempo, al comienzo de la segunda parte, sobre todo es cuando suceden estos problemas. Este es Eguren. Ya sale al terreno de juego Honduras. Ahora Uruguay lo tendrán ustedes a la derecha en sus pantallas. A Honduras a la izquierda. Uruguay con su indumentaria habitual. Y Honduras con camiseta y pantalón de color blanco.
been very entertaining so far, and let's hope for more of the same. Let's rejoin Iain Dowie and Iain Crocker.
Welcome back to Medellin, where Uruguay begin the second half. And this is a result that, in a way, so far suits both teams. Honduras, remember, have to avoid defeat to progress. Uruguay already guaranteed a quarter-final of some sort. But I'm sure they will want to give their confidence a boost if they have to face Brazil. Even if they don't have to face Brazil, they might come up against Colombia, so it ain't going to be easy for them, but difficult really to see which way this game might go in.
No, absolutely. I just think Uruguay have got a little bit more quality, with Lopez, and as you said, first half for Honduras, unfortunately all the chances for Martinez, and he does look like he gets very, very rash in the box, and he's not a cool finisher, and that's always going to be a problem for him. And it does surprise me that they are the highest scorers in their CONCACAF group with forwards like Martinez in the side.
Here's Guevara, who has been amongst the goals for his country. Scored 2 against Bolivia, also got a double in a World Cup defeat against Costa Rica at the start of the month. They also met Costa Rica again, of course, in this tournament.
Well, you see him strike a lovely free kick in the first half, struck it ever so well. Excellent save from Berbia, but apart from that, no, there's no doubt about it that for all Uruguay's better quality, they've certainly not been great defensively, because they've given up, well, 3 excellent chances to Martinez alone, and every time he's not made the keeper make a save. So, although they've probably shaped it on possession, they certainly haven't had a cutting edge really. Not cutting edge enough for me, and really their only main hope is with Lemos on the free kicks, and he certainly strikes that well.
Here's Julio Leon, and didn't really strike that one well.
No, but I think in the earlier games I like the look of Leon, and I think him and Garcia, along with Guevara, are the main hope for Honduras. They look nice and bright, and if they can get them more on the ball and maybe push Leon a little bit more forward to join in with Martinez, and don't leave them so isolated, that could be the way back for them.
As it stands at the moment, both these teams are going through. Uruguay were assured anyway of a last 8 berth. Honduras, though, had a bit of work to do, with Ecuador waiting in the wings to try and nick their place.
I certainly think when you get to the quarter-final stage, you start when you see sides, because it's a knockout phase, they've really got to be on their mettle and start the play. And it's pressure games. You generally see all the teams raise their game a little. And I have to say, I think Uruguay are a little bit short to go the whole way this year. But I certainly don't think too many sides want to face them in the quarter-finals because of their defensive record. They're a nice, solid unit.
Honduras last-minute replacements for Argentina, but making the most of their invitation to the Copa America. Oh! Took a deflection and cannoned off the post. And here's Lemos to try and set something up for Uruguay. Not the best of passes, though.
No, again, give away cheaply, but nearly a freak goal there, and a little bit fortunate to escape again. Again, I would have thought the keeper, Berbia, when the ball was going to be delivered, should have been round about the front post. I don't know why he was quite in the middle of his goal. He should be at your near post when the ball's going to be crossed and then adjust from there, but he was certainly quite. Here's a chance. It's Martinez again.
Here he is. Can he finish this time? Oh, he's a little unfortunate. He's still calm, but he's getting closer and closer, Martinez.
Well, I just have to say he didn't really have a good left foot. I mean, here's the other chance that deflects onto the post. And you see the keeper's nowhere near the front post. But here's Martinez, lovely through ball. I think it was from Guevara, but he hits it wonderfully. Can't hit it any better. Beats the keeper, all ends up, and he's very, very unfortunate there.
Honduras try again. Another thumping strike. We see Martinez going that close.
Oh, he is unfortunate. We did criticise him in the first half, but what he has got is big pace, and that's troubling the Uruguayan defence. And to be fair to the lad, he keeps getting there, and there's a good strike. I think it was Guevara again, really hit that one well, but always going over the top. He makes quite bright, intelligent runs, Martin. It's just that he needs to get that bit more coolness. It sits up a little bit for him there, and that's why he gets the loft on it. But he absolutely flashes it by Burbia and smashes into the post, or the bar, shall I say.
So Uruguay with a chance to have a go. Very tight defensively throughout their World Cup qualifying campaign, but not exactly free scoring either. Lemos tries a different route this time, something that obviously worked on, but it's a safe catch for the keeper.
Right, it's a lovely idea. You could see them setting it up. I think it was Diaz bombing along there, you know, going to come very late, and it's just the ball out. I think it's from Lopez, from Lemos again. It's just not far enough in front of Diaz, and he has to wait for it. Here's another yellow card. And Becerra's got.
He's already got one. Becerra. He's off. It's a record 15th red card for the players in the Copa America. Uruguay are down to 10 men. They're standing. Captain Becerra walks.
Again, it's not a sending off, really. I mean, I don't think, you know, he's even that bad a challenge. I'm not sure how much of a foul there is here. I mean, it's absolutely nothing. A hard for tug on the arm. Martinez goes to ground, and again, is someone been sent off because of the player's ability to go to the ground too quick? But that's disappointing for Becerra. He couldn't afford to make the challenge, but I think the referee's been foolhardy there, sending him off. But this will make a game of it now. I mean, you know, Honduras will feel they've got an excellent chance of certainly going into the quarters, and I don't think this is good news for Ecuador, because it's looking more and more likely that certainly they won't get beat, and there's every chance they may win this game now.
Well, the red card count continues to rise. Leon. Uruguay then down to 10 men, and the Copa America for the first time in its history has seen 15 red cards for the players, and of course another 2 for the Brazilian manager and his assistant as well. And some of the red cards do seem to have been pretty soft, but then this is South America.
Yeah, well, trouble is it detracts from a little bit. You know, you want it was an interesting game. It was set up well for the, you know, for what's the last 40 minutes of the game. Now it's going to be a little bit one-way traffic, one would imagine, but you know, Uruguay have good response. They'll adjust their system, I'm sure.
Here's Lemos. If anybody can make it happen for Uruguay, he can. He gets it back for Martinez. Still Lemos. Still Lemos. It goes for goal in the end, but too much in his way.
Yeah, a bit too much there. He's done wonderful skill 2 or 3 times, got opportunities to deliver or shoot, overdoes it, and by this time his options closed down. And as I say, Guglielmone had made 3 or 4 runs to try and get in there, and in the end he gets marked.
Victor Pua has a job on his hands here.
Yeah, I think Victor Pua is going to do that. He's going to maybe put Guglielmone on his up front on his own, and then drop Carlos Morales a little bit deeper along with Lemos, and you know, really go 4-3-2-1, and then make sure they're nice and solid, you know.
If it is a draw here, by the way, Honduras, by our reckoning, would be the best placed team in 3rd, and would meet Costa Rica again, who they've already played in the group stage. They'd meet them in the quarter-final. Here's Martinez for Uruguay, who are heading for a quarter-final showdown with Brazil, which Becerra will miss. Martinez was up on his own again.
Yeah, I think you could see Victor Pua there coming out. He's saying that certainly when they lose the ball, he wants 2 banks of 4 and just leave Guglielmone up on his own and be nice and solid. So it'll mean Morales dropping in along with Lemos in the midfield area now to help out, along with Dardamo and Eguren. And it looks like maybe Eguren will go back. Martinez will shove in alongside Dardamo. So it looks like Eguren might be the one to go back into that defensive formation.
Just clipped. So Uruguay down to 10 men, and the flag up against Martinez. Certainly the referee from Ecuador, who do stand to benefit, of course, tonight, can't be accused of anything now for sure, having reduced Uruguay to 10 men.
No.
That's our conspiracy theory out the window.
Out the window, yeah. Bang goes another wee theory.
I remember 14 times winners of this tournament, 6 times runners-up as well.
It's a very heavy challenge again. Very heavy challenge. I think it was Medina out there. Very, very strong challenge. And there's Guti, very, very heavy challenge.
He's received a yellow card. The second Honduran to be booked. And Lemos sizing up another free kick for Uruguay. Carlos Morales and Guglielmone, Martinez amongst those waiting for this. Eguren is also there. Lemos sends it in. Goalkeeper, like so many on the continent, electing to fist it away. And Ramon, it went across from Morales, and Honduras a little bit lucky to escape.
I think he just hit Eguren on the legs, didn't know nothing about it, but could have flown the net. But an excellent, yeah, that's good contact from Morales, and I think he just hits Eguren. It does, yeah, just hits him on the knees, knows nothing about it. And Honduras a delight to see it fly by.
Leon, Tercios. Guevara, the captain, trying to show the way for Honduras. In the Copa America for the very first time, having been invited to participate late on when Argentina pulled out. With due respect to Honduras, we all would have liked to have seen Argentina in the tournament, and they certainly would have been the favourites. They're ruling the South American roost at the moment, but Honduras giving a reasonable account of themselves.
Yeah, certainly been late and find themselves more than likely now going to the quarter-finals, and who knows what can happen there. And it's difficult at the moment because the incentive of maybe winning tonight maybe make them play Brazil in the quarters, and that's why, I mean, it's a demotivation of anything. But then again, they may have to play, it looks like they're more than likely to play Costa Rica now, you know, to third place, so rather than Colombia, which would be a benefit, I think.
Martinez has been fouled. Free kick, which I dare say Guevara and Leon will stand over.
Yeah, it's a good challenge from Cabello afterwards, a little bit of pull on his shirt, and I think Capello's just pulled inside. It's actually Dardamo that's dropped back into that sort of a left-back role. He's got a nice left foot. You've seen that free kick he hit in the first half, so he's comfortable there. We'll just put Cabello inside a little bit just to keep him nice and solid.
There's the captain. starting. Guevara, who is lining this one up. This could be a bit of a test for Adrian Berbia, because Guevara has proved he can hit them. Guevara goes for goal, but hits the wall.
Yeah, nice strong wall there. It's just what you want your wall to do, stand up. I think he took him in the chest, but it was a nice hit from Guevara, but again very ambitious from fully 30-35 yards.
Uruguay still hoping to qualify automatically for the World Cup next year to avoid a playoff with Australia, and they could still do it. They're level on points with Brazil. Uruguay in 5th place, the top 4 qualify. Honduras still in with a shout as well in their group, just behind Costa Rica and the USA, and they meet the USA next in Washington in September. It'll be a crunch game for them. Tercios now. He might just get it back.
Yeah, nice patient build up there, probing, trying to get Garcia more in the game. He showed his ability in the first half to turn defenders, just hasn't seen enough of the ball for me.
Rodriguez and Guevara. Tercios. Tercios to try again. Decent delivery that. Caballero would come up from the back. Guevara was in there too, but Lemos makes sure that it goes for the goal kick.
Yeah, they do seem reticent to put the ball in. He didn't really want to cross it there when he did, but it was an excellent ball. A little bit of unnervy defending from Uruguay, but they get a goal kick out of it, and they'll be pleased to regroup and make sure they won't rush at this. They know the situation they're in. They're up against 10 men, getting everyone behind the ball, and it always promised a bit close. I mean, they're 30th in the world, Uruguay. I think Honduras are 18 places worse off, 48th, and it always promised to be quite a close encounter, and that's the way it's turned out. And certainly now, when they're down at 10 men, Uruguay's, they're not going to be chasing the game, and they'll get bodies behind the ball, and it is difficult to break down. That's why I think when you think about, there's no easy games in world football anymore, because people get bodies behind the ball, pack areas, and you have to do some intricate passing or some wonderful technique to try and break defences down. It's a lot easier to stop goals than actually create them. And Victor Poor there being very animated, shouting out his direction, what he wants. He's saying, nice and tight, keep it nice and tight. Don't go chasing the ball, let them come to you, and that's good tactics when you're a man down. And then obviously just try and play on the break.
So Honduras heading for a quarter-final with Costa Rica, and Martinez is offside again. Uruguay heading for a quarter-final with Brazil at the moment, who they did actually beat not so long ago in a World Cup qualifier, thanks to a penalty given by Scotland's top referee, Hugh Dallas, who was in charge of that game.
Quite close decision now, I felt. I think Martinez making them little diagonal runs behind the Uruguayan defence, and they've kept a high line all game. But he has got in 2 or 3 times, and I think it's a risky tactic to keep doing it. You know, again, if there's not pressure on the ball, I don't think you can afford to hold that higher line.
Guglielmone's header drops harmlessly through to Valladares. Uruguay went to the final of the Copa America in '99, losing 3-0 to Brazil, and they last won it in '95 when they hosted the tournament, last host to win it. Although Colombia hoping to change that this year. Guevara. Leon. Tercios, Caballero. Uruguay a man down after Bizarra became the 15th player to be sent off, a record number in the Copa America. And we've still got the quarterfinals, semi-finals, third place playoff, and the final to go.
I think they'll certainly set a record that might not be beaten for a few years. Yeah, it looks like he's coach Poor. I think he's dropped Guglielmone into a midfield area now and just left Morales up on his own. So it's a bit more physical presence. So that may help out a little bit. Just jigging the pack, and it's going to make. It looks like Richard Morales is going to come on, who's another big centre forward. So maybe that it's Carlos Morales that comes off, and they go with a bit of height up to make sure that when they knock the ball forward, it sticks up there and they can get a platform to build on. Because when you're down to 10 men, when you hit a long ball forward, you need it to stick, and you can get your support up and slowly build. You know, you can't afford to be just the ball keep coming back at you.
Well, Richard Morales should be capable of doing just that. Here's Caballero. As Honduras try to make something of this. Leon.
It's interesting when you talk about playing against 10 men. I always think this. It's very, very important you make the pitch as big as you can. You know, you stretch them down one side, but be patient, come out, go right over the other side. Eventually, if you keep probing and passing, you will get a gap, and you really want to get behind them, and then that's when defenders are less effective. Here's a chance.
Tosios is in here. Oh, they've hit the post. It just will not go in this game.
Well, certainly the Uruguayan goals, and particularly Berbia, they're leading the charm life. Wonderful little move that. Great ball again from Guevara. Wonderful strike from Tercios, and he's so unfortunate. I think he had to go near post then because he was running out of time. Good strike, clearly beats the keeper, but again the woodwork comes to Uruguay's rescue.
So it's Richard Morales to come on, and Guglielmone is the man to make way. So the two Moraleses will be up front.
Good strike again. Just eludes Martinez there. Well, knowing the way his luck's going tonight, it would have probably gone over the bar anyway.
Uruguay shot up 10 places in the new FIFA rankings out this week to 30, and also pop pickers. Honduras went up 3 to number 48. Here is Martinez. Richard Morales gets his first touch. It's a pretty useful one. Dadamo not quite able to benefit though. Here's Tercios. Quite what Leon wanted.
No, I don't know what he was seeing now. I think he maybe felt that Leon was going to make the diagonal pull away behind the defender, but he came short. It's just one of them misunderstandings, lack of communication, and it always looks so bad when that happens.
Midway through the second half in Medellin, no goals between Honduras and Uruguay in the last of the group games. Still one quarter-final place to be sorted. Uruguay already there. It's either going to be Honduras or Ecuador, and it's looking good for the Hondurans at the moment, as Lemos has a few words to say to Guti. Egeron. Diaz now. Oh, it's skidded through. Medina.
He's excellent defending, read the situation very well. He's got him behind Caballero. I think it was Lemos had got him behind Caballero. Medina picked off the situation. But interesting, if it stays as it is, it looks like there'll be an all Central American quarter-final in Costa Rica and Honduras, who know each other very well. So that'll be interesting. I think that will create a bit of interest back home.
Here's Leon. Martinez trying to check his run, but it's going to roll through to Berbia. Richard Morales. See us snapping away at him.
That's excellent play from Morales. That's just what you want your centre forward to do when you're down to 10 men. He's held the ball up, assisted a bit of challenges. Now they've got a little set piece here, and and they can maybe deliver a ball in the box, and who knows, may get a goal from a set piece, because they've certainly looked threatening.
More or less a straight swap this, I would think. Diego Perev, just 21 years of age, is coming on for Martinez. And Martinez had to be a bit careful, actually, because if he'd got a yellow card in this game, he would have missed the quarter-final. But he definitely won't get one now, because he's been replaced.
And certainly Coach Pooh has done that already, you know, with 3 of his more established players. I mean, obviously Morales has come on now, but he left that Sorondo and Callejas, you know, and both of them quite influential players. So he maybe had half an eye on a quarter-final anyway. Obviously knew he was there, and it was just a case of maybe resting what he considered maybe his more influential players to make sure they're nice and fresh for the quarter-final.
Here is Richard Morales. And he'll settle happily for the corner.
So this is what I'm talking about, whether if you had the same time for the games, and they would still have to go for it, you know. This is why, you know, it's a good enough it draws an excellent result for Honduras. Not so good for Ecuador, and probably the referee not very happy, but then maybe his mother's Honduran, to go back to your conspiracy theory.
Here's Lemos, whips the corner in. Leon completes the clearance. Here's Martinez. He's got the free kick, in fact. Yes, I remember a few years back watching World Cup games. It was so obviously fixed when they didn't play them the last 2 games at the same time, as they now do, of course.
No, absolutely right. You know, how many times have you seen it when you need a 0-0 to go through, the 0-0 turns out, and it's more difficult when you can't do that, especially World Cups, but when you can actually judge it so that the games can be at the same time. Obviously not as good for the Sky viewers back home to be able to see that, you know. It's great to see enough of the football, it really is, you know. You get to see lots and different players and different styles and the way different coaches do it, and I think, you know, I enjoy watching it because they do play a lot of different formations and they play systems you can't believe at times, but they are very effective, and I think it's always a learning process for players and coaches alike when they watch this sort of football.
Well, there'll certainly be a good few managers and coaches watching, that's for sure, and trying to pick out a player or two as well as sussing out the tactics. Here's Medina. Tercios. Free kick. Seen a fair bit of the ball lately, Tercios.
Yeah, absolutely. He's seen a good bit of the ball. Again, after he hit the post, he's got nice ability, low centre of gravity, good manipulate the ball, got good technique. But now, when you look at the Uruguayan side, I think it's all but Carlos Morales home-based. You know, so Carlos Morales plays in Mexico. So the opportunity for coaches to come over and maybe take people over, you know, Uruguayans over, and they have been successful. You know, Montella. You know, you think about Juventus. You know, one of the great defenders in the world, you know, so there have been some excellent exports, you know, so it's important. Gus Poyet, of course, who's Uruguayan, who was talking today, I think, about maybe making an international comeback now that he's extended his career a little bit with Spurs. So they've got some excellent overseas stars, and they show good appetite and hunger for the game, and they're not frightened of the physical side, which certainly I think you need when a more European style football.
Brazil at the moment awaiting Uruguay in the quarterfinals. By the way, there was a lovely quote from the Brazilian coach Scolari today here in Colombia. He came up with this line saying about his team: we have rice and beans fill you up. We need to add some meat, that would be good. A bit of salad would be nice, and if we have a pudding as well, we'll be okay for qualifying for the World Cup. So you never came up with anything like that in your interviews, did you?
No, I didn't know, but I didn't know he'd been in your suitcase and pinched your diet. So I have to say, I'm not sure. I'm glad I'm not going around to his house for dinner, that's for sure.
Here's Caballero. Here's Leon, promising this for Honduras. All right. Oh, it's come through to Martinez. And the danger far from over for Uruguay yet. Tercius on the scene. Guevara. Quarter of an hour remaining. Not to say we all thought a draw was a pretty predictable outcome here, but it could change, I suppose.
Well, it's not as if there hasn't been goal-mouth action. I mean, Martinez on his own could have had 4 goals. We see an excellent free kick from Guevara that hit the post. Magnificent effort from Lemos that struck the upright. So I think the busiest person on the field tonight has been the woodwork. It really has been struck a few times. So there's been goal-mouth opportunities, just really from Martinez a bit more cutting edge would have seen Honduras very, very comfortably in second place in the group, and had the dubious honour of maybe playing Brazil.
Hierro. Sliding in. There is Ramon Madariaga, who played in the 1982 World Cup finals in Spain, and our friend Jerry Armstrong played against him for Northern Ireland, as Jerry loves telling us. And then, of course, he soon mentions the goal he scored against Spain.
Arcanada Armstrong, as the fanzine is in Northern Ireland. So, great moments for Jerry, and it's lovely to look back on that. And I have to say, he's obviously been doing a bit of Mr. Scolari's diet, and obviously too much pudding from what I've seen him in that Adidas tracksuit tonight.
Here's Richard Morales. Carlos Morales waiting in the middle. Doesn't quite reach him. Now Honduras letting Richard Morales in, but they recovered. A bit uncomfortable though, and a bit ragged.
Yeah, they've not really shown enough desire, you know, since they've gone down to 10 men for me, and they're quite happy with this. It looks like they'll push it if the opportunity's there, they'll take it, but they're not going to go chasing the game, and that's disappointing especially for the kids who've come, and they want to see a spectacle, want to see some goals, but that's the way the situation is. They're in the quarter-final, and by the looks of things, unless something radically changes in the last 12, 13 minutes, and that's a good result for Honduras and coach Ramon Madariaga.
There's 2,000 kids let in for nothing tonight. Cruelty to children, it might be considered. Well, the people were surely impeded by the towering presence of Richard Morales.
I think he was. I don't think he's as badly injured as he's making out, but he got a little shove in the back.
Well, he seems to be in need of treatment, Valladares.
Even the keepers are fully paid up members of equity now with their histrionics, for sure.
Victor Pua, the coach of Uruguay, in charge of the national side for the second time, took over from Daniel Passarella, who resigned in February.
Uncompromising looking character there, to say.
Yes, I don't think he does much running around on the training field, Sabao. To play for Liverpool, but not that one, not the one in England. Liverpool in Uruguay. The Colombians in the crowd, of course, as well, supporting the festival of football that is taking place in their homeland. Not sure what he had on his back there, actually.
I'm not quite sure, actually.
I don't think I want to know either, to be honest. Just over 10 minutes to go in Medellin. No goals between Honduras and Uruguay, and that's bad news for Ecuador because they're heading out at the moment. Honduras are heading through, and I think we all felt that one. Tercius goes down. Oh, it's card being shown to Egeran, who was already on a yellow, I think.
But if he was, he's certainly ignoring the referee. But very, very rash challenge. Yeah, it may well be. I think you're absolutely right, Ian. He's taking this, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous challenge. If I was Coach Poor, I'd be absolutely furious, because he's never getting the ball. It's a really rash challenge. It's the first real one that's deserved a yellow card for me. And it's a very rash challenge, you know, especially when you're on the yellow card. And that's the referee's got no options but to send him off.
Uruguay are down to 9 men, and he's out of the quarter-final as well, Egeran, although he hasn't been a regular in their side. Becerra also sent off here, and that's 16 red cards now for the players in this tournament, and 2 for the Brazilian bench.
Yeah, will there be anyone left in that quarter-final or not? That would be 7v7. But, you know, it's disappointing when you think of Becerra, you know, made captain tonight. He's going to miss a massive game in the quarter-final of the Copa against Brazil, you know, probably one of the biggest games of his life. And, you know, them opportunities don't come around too often. And, I mean, his I felt was very harsh, but that one from Egeran is just a silly challenge. I mean, he's only come in for the suspended Lagos tonight as well, so he's not done the coach any favours whatsoever.
Last 3 games there's been 2 players sent off in all of them. We certainly have had our fair share of red cards in this tournament, and a record number in Copa America history already. We haven't even got to the quarter-final stage. We nearly have.
7 games yet to go after this. What's your vote?
The red card count?
Yeah.
It's got to be mid-20s potential, isn't it?
Same, definitely. It looks like we may well get over 20, which is disappointing. You know, and I think when you talk about FIFA, you know, fair play and everything that goes on before all World Cup qualifying games. You know, it's disappointing that a tournament of this stature get that many cards, and it'd be a disappointment to FIFA for sure.
Uruguay are taking off Lemos and replacing him with Ancham, wearing 16.
Yeah, I think it's just a more defensive-minded midfield player to go and just sit in there and a few bit of fresh legs for the last 8 or 9 minutes.
So Lemos is off. I'll have to find somebody else to take all the free kicks now and corners. Celsius. Diego Perez has taken the captain's armband. Becerra became the first Uruguayan to be sent off. Leon, he's done very well. Can he go all the way? Somehow it stayed out.
Well, I think Martinez is the unlucky man, but again, you know, he really should release the ball earlier, Leon. I mean, he's standing there waiting for a tap-in, Martinez, and, you know, to be fair to him, he keeps getting in there, and the ball that comes across, he's got absolutely no chance, because the defender gets back by this time, and he lifts it up, goes for the header, but the defender's back by this time. But on the build-up to it, you can clearly see that he's waiting for a tap-in.
Nasty clash there as well, as the 2 of them went for it.
It's just that extra 2 touches he didn't need, a little slip ball across. He fires at it, and it's excellent defending. I think it's from Diaz in there. He throws himself headlong. Yeah, it is Diaz. That's wonderful defending from Diaz.
So another delay in proceedings here, so that treatment can be given to Diaz and Martinez. Still no sign of a goal, and we're running out of time, but it's not really a bad situation for either team. Certainly for Honduras, as they try and edge Ecuador out. But Uruguay, remember, with 9 men now, 2 players sent off, so they're the ones hanging on a little bit more. Carlos Morales, who scored for them against Costa Rica, and might get the chance to do the same again, because at the moment they're going to be playing again in the quarter-finals. Quarter-final lineup that could well be Brazil against Uruguay, Costa Rica, Honduras, Colombia v Peru. Chile-Mexico already confirmed. Now what a chance here for Honduras! They take the lead, and it's that man again, Guevara.
Yeah, it's a great goal. In fact, it's wonderful movement, excellent 1-2 on the edge of the box. Takes it ever so well with his mid-drift, and for once a bit of cold and calculating finish. He slips it past the Berbia into the bottom corner, and Uruguay probably don't look too disappointed. It's a wonderful. I mean, Martinez has kept going all night. He's involved in the 1-2. Yeah, it's a nice little tuck away there. And you'd expect it with only 9 men, but it's a good run from Guevara. Still shows good leg that this is the late stage in the game. Finally get a goal that all the kids that have come to see, and it's that man again, Guevara.
He may well have set Honduras up with a quarter-final against Brazil. Guevara with his 3rd goal of the tournament. He really has been in fine form in front of goal for them lately. Some important World Cup goals for them too. And their main man in the Copa America.
Yeah, and he's always shown good quality on the ball, even in the game tonight. Every time he has the ball, good passes, nice free kicks. He's got a bit of quality about him. Certainly plays in a little bit of a drawn role behind the front man, generally Martinez, and floats where he likes. Got given a lot of freedom by Coach Madariaga, and you can see why when he's popped up with 3 goals in the last 2 games to really resurrect Honduras' hopes of doing well in the Copa.
Well, that's swapped it all around a little bit, and now it could be Brazil against Honduras. Uruguay could find themselves up against Costa Rica, but all that to be confirmed. Not sure if Uruguay will be too disappointed to miss out on a game with Brazil.
No, absolutely. We did maybe say that possibly a late goal for Honduras. Back to that conspiracy again.
Guevara, though, he was on the 3 of the tournament.
Certainly looks like Ecuador are heading out now. Looks far too late in the game for after a speculative effort there from Morales, but you know, after all their hard work in getting past Venezuela 4-0, you think they've got a chance, but as it's turned out, 1 win's not enough.
Yes, you wouldn't really want to be in the Ecuador camp just now. Their hopes of reaching the quarter-final slipping away from them, and they had probably the strongest available squad in the tournament as well. Made a desperate start, losing to Chile 4-1, and although they did whack Venezuela, it looks like too little too late for Ecuador on their way out. Honduras likely to finish 2nd in this group.
Yeah, and just when Delgado and Fernandez, the 2 forwards, sort of caught fire in that last game against Venezuela, they find themselves on their way home, and they're certainly penalised for their very, very poor start against Chile when they looked defensively all at sea.
I suppose if you do lose 2 of your 3 group games, you don't really deserve to advance.
No.
Honduras may have come in at the last minutes, but they are making an impression on this Copa America. A couple of minutes to go here. They're in control against the 9 men of Uruguay.
There's actually no rush at all. Just got to keep the ball. We've got 2 extra men, make the pitch big, pass and move, and just make the Uruguayans chase the ball. And as you say, they're probably not as keen to chase it as they were if they were going to play Brazil. They may try and get it. It's a great ball. That is wonderful delivery.
Martinez.
That might be a penalty. No, referee's not giving it.
He might have had a shout there, but nothing doing. It's slipping away from Victor Pua's Uruguay, but whether they're that bothered or not, we wonder, because it means that a quarter-final with Brazil is slipping away from them, and they would in fact instead be up against Costa Rica. Mind you, that won't be particularly easy.
No, it won't be easy, and you never know what's in their mindset sometimes. Uruguay, they're obviously a defensively based unit, but I still always think that, you know, winning's habits, or again not getting beaten's good habits, and they've lost the game tonight, and whatever you say, it does knock your confidence, and they go into the quarter-final with looks like Costa Rica now, and probably not as good a spirits as maybe if they'd have kept maybe a clean sheet and maybe won the game.
Yellow card has been shown to Leon. Not much going on there, was it?
Absolutely nothing going on there, I don't know.
Leon must have said something. Confirmation of his yellow card.
I have to say, I think certainly Honduras will have to play a great deal better than they have tonight to trouble Brazil. You know, they've created chances, but you know, at times Uruguay have not been adventurous enough for me. They'll have to play a lot better. You know, they really will. You'll have to expect a lot more from maybe the two Moraleses, who may well play up front in their quarter-final, and you know, they need a bit more quality delivery. You know, Lemos has got to get more in the game for me. It faded very badly second half, and certainly went down to 10 men. You know, they were almost carrying him. So, you know, there's positives for Honduras, but I don't see too many positives for Uruguay out of this situation. They've lost two more players. Certainly Becerra will be a loss, because you know, he plays a decent centre back and can play maybe right side if he has to. So, you know, he's got problems to deal with, Victor Pur, and it probably will be an unsettling few days until he gets his team in his mind, and then hopefully come out and what will be a very tough game against Costa Rica, and certainly a very much in form Paulo Wanchope.
Uruguay looking for an equaliser, which again would swap it all around, change the complexion of the quarter-final lineup. But they really haven't been that impressive in this tournament so far, mind you. Quite often in major tournaments around the world, teams that don't excel at the group stage seem to go on and get better and better and do the business. Yeah,
we were talking before, Andy, and we both felt that, you know, Uruguay hadn't been at all impressive. You know, when you consider, you know, the players they've missing, obviously that's going to be very difficult for them. You still felt with their history and their tradition in Copas and you know, in world football, they put on better show. And we found they've been a bit, you know, a bit stale and not been inventive enough. And certainly it's proved the case tonight. They've not really opened any doors at all, and I can't really can't remember Valladolid making too many good saves.
Say the last 6 games that I've seen in the Copa America, 5 of them have finished in 1-0 scoreline, so I think I might have to put a bit of money on Chile, Mexico, the first of the quarter-finals. A 1-0 scoreline, one way or the other.
Listen, if you're putting some money on, I'm going to join it, because I'll try and listen out for the alarm going off on that wallet of yours, Aidan.
Certainly 1-0 is a popular scoreline in this competition.
No, and it shows that they've got good defensive qualities. You know, that when they go up in the lead, that they can keep it. I have to say that for all their defensive strengths in the World Cup tonight, I don't think Uruguay have looked solid defensively. They've given away too many opportunities, certainly to Martinez. But you know, I think they've had the woodwork hit 3 times, and you know, they're lucky to only be 1 down. And there might be 2 down here.
Goalkeeper alert.
It's good positioning from keeper Berbia there.
It's all over in Medellin. That's the end of the group stages, and Honduras have claimed the quarter-final place, edging out Ecuador. But Uruguay are also through to the last 8. They, though, well, it was a game that was costly to them. They had 2 players sent off, and Becerra and Egeran won't be available come the last 8. It finishes then in Medellin. Honduras 1, Uruguay 0.
Final Group C table now like this, confirmed for you. Costa Rica, late entrants, win this group, and Honduras, who came in even after Costa Rica the day before the tournament, they will be staying on, and they've done it in style. They now finish second in the group, with Uruguay hanging on at Copa America.
Y en Manizales, Brasil con Honduras. Gracias por la atención prestada. La Copa América volverá el domingo a partir de las 10 de la noche en horario peninsular español. Desde el Atanasio Girardot en Medellín, un saludo muy cordial, muy buenas noches.